Well, hello everybody, Bug-Eater64 here again, and by golly, today we're going to be in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and we're going to be flying the Airplane Heaven version of the DC-3, the Douglas DC-3 C-47, one of the greatest all-time birds built in history. Been war-proven and was the first commercial airline aircraft that really made a name for itself. So anyway, what we're going to do today is I'm going to be flying this bird from Orlando International in Florida, and we're going to fly it up to Atlanta International in Atlanta, Georgia. This is going to be an FS airline flight, so we're going to be carrying cargo and we're going to be carrying passengers. The other thing is, I looked at the real world weather for today, and by golly, there's going to be a ton of wind because we got some storm fronts coming in the next few days, and that can be a problem with the DC-3. This is an aircraft that takes off at speeds of primarily a Cessna, 65 to 70 miles per hour, and the wings and everything have so much lift that she can be susceptible on a crosswinds. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see how the weather is in Atlanta. I'm suspecting it's going to be pretty much the same because this storm front basically goes from the Gulf almost up to Canada. So with that, let's get inside the aircraft, let's get things started, and we'll see how it goes. See you inside. Alright, so here we are at Orlando International. We're going to be taking our DC-3 from Airplane Heaven developers, and we are going to be flying it from here in Florida up to Atlanta, Georgia. So let's see if we can get this thing going here. Okay, so external power is
Orlando
on.
clearance delivery. Douglas Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra IFR to Atlanta, ready to copy.
Douglas Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is cleared to Atlanta Airport as filed. Takeoff runway tree 5 left climb and maintain 9,000 feet. Departure frequency is 120.
Okay, now we've got in normal case
Douglas Alpha
we've
Sierra
got
X-Ray
plenty
Golf
of
Sierra,
fuel,
cleared to Atlanta Airport
but this is
as
going to be
filed.
kind of a test because
Takeoff
the Airplane
runway 5
Heaven
left climb and
aircraft
maintain
in
9,000
Microsoft,
Departure on 120.
I've had in the past a real problem with it drinking fuel. So we'll see how things go today.
Contact ground on 122.85.
We've got over 2,000 pounds of fuel, and it shouldn't take but maybe 1,500 pounds to make this flight. Alright, let's get our GPS system set up and our flight plan. Calls for 9,000 feet. Since we don't have a pressurized cabin, we're going to keep it relatively low because there's nothing to run into between here and there anyway at that altitude. Okay. Nearest airports. Alright, flight plan's in. We're ready to go here. And that'll give us an indication of hazardous ground clearances. Alright, now this particular parking spot, this ramp area, is for cargo. And we're going to open the windows so we can kind of see the difference in the sounds on this particular aircraft. Okay, so let's see about getting things started here. Get our magnetos ready. Fuel pump boosters. Here it's winding up. There we go. Good start on that engine. Let's see. Oh, okay. Get the mesh. There we go. There we go. So, good. Both engines running nicely. Lights on here. Remove external power. Close the windows, make things a little quieter. Alright, now the other thing is I haven't been able to get any pushback availability from here, so we're going to kind of cheat and just kind of wind things around. Let's see how that goes. Because normally a Microsoft Flight Simulator, you just kind of go right through stuff. So
visibility 10. Sky condition few clouds at 2,600 feet.
Now we haven't had the update 13 yet, so we're still flying in update 12.
Ground Douglas Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra with Sierra ready to taxi IFR.
Douglas Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Taxi 2 and hold short of runway tree 5 left using taxiway Alpha Tree Alpha Bravo 10 cross runway tree 6 left Bravo 10 cross runway tree 6 right Bravo 10 Bravo Bravo 9er Charlie Foxtrot Golf Hotel 6 Hotel Hotel 10. Contact tower on 118.45 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway tree 5 left using taxiway Alpha Tree Alpha Bravo 10 cross runway tree 6 left Bravo 10 cross runway tree 6 right Bravo 10 Bravo Bravo 9er Charlie Foxtrot Golf Hotel 6 Hotel Hotel 10 Douglas X-Ray Golf Sierra.
Okay, we got our clearance to taxi, so here we go. Let's see how this works. See if we're going to avoid that power truck, which we just go right through, just like we always do, no problem. So, now what happens? Oh, okay. So, we can't go through that truck, but we can go through the baggage conveyor. That's just silly. Either make things hard or make them transparent. You know, you shouldn't have both. I prefer they to be hard. That way I could make it a little more challenging and I'd know where to park and where not to park. Okay, but anyway, we're going to be taxiing out here. I'd like to be able to get rid of that top bar and only bring it up when I want it. So if anybody has any knowledge on how to turn that thing off so it only comes on at my beckoning, I would appreciate any knowledge. Okay, so get up here. We're going to be making a right turn to head out to the runway. Landing lights on as we approach the hold short. This Airplane Heaven version of the DC-3 is actually quite nice. It's a pretty good working girl. Alright, we're going to get flaps to 1/4. We're not that heavy. I've actually been able to take off the DC-3 because it's got so much wing area. It produces a lot of lift. And I've been able to take off without any flaps. But we are carrying cargo and people today, so she's a little bit heavier, so we'll go ahead with the recommended 1/4 flap. Get our FS airline going here. And you can see we've got 2,403 pounds of fuel, and it's only called for about 1,400 to 1,500 pounds for the flight. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, yeah, get that out of the way. Alright, right now we're looking good. So let's get ready to leave Orlando. And when you see that bar up there on the thing, it means I've got 2 monitors I use, and I move some of my things I need or work with, like my Navigraph charts, so on like that. I move them to my second monitor. Well, when I want to highlight something and use the mouse on them, I have to get on that second monitor. When I do that, that bar shows up, and it won't disappear until I just see my cursor is back on the main screen. So, you know, I understand there is a mod you can do or a plug-in that you can use to get rid of that, so you know you can do a key binding to make it come and go. So if I haven't been able to find it, but if somebody knows where it is or where to find it, please give me some information. I'd appreciate it. Because for me, that bar is kind of a nuisance. Alright,
Orlando
so
Tower, Douglas Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra ready for departure runway 35 left IFR to Atlanta.
Douglas Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra altimeter 29.999er, wind 067 at 8. Cleared for takeoff runway tree 5 left.
Cleared for takeoff runway tree 5 left Douglas Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra.
Okay, so flaps are set. Trim is set for takeoff. And go ahead and add some power here. We got a lot of crosswind today, pretty good winds actually. So this, like I said, the wings on the DC-3 provide so much lift that crosswinds sometimes can get a little bit tricky. So we'll get going here. Takeoff is okay. Flaps are up. Landing gear is
Douglas
up.
X-Ray Golf Sierra contact Orlando departure on 120.15. Good day.
120.15 Douglas X-Ray Golf Sierra. Orlando departure Douglas Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is at 900 feet, climbing 9,000 feet.
Douglas Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Orlando departure altimeter 29.999er. Continue as planned.
Okay, so we'll get things set up here. Okay, and let's get ready to rumble.
Douglas X-Ray Golf Sierra, please expedite your climb 9,000 feet.
And we're going to cancel that IFR flight and go with flight following. So let's get going to our destination. Getting ready to approach. Heading now, so. And we're going to get ready to land.
Douglas X-Ray Golf Sierra, wind tree 5 at 6. Clear to land runway 26 right.
Cleared to land runway 26 right, Douglas X-ray Golf Sierra.
Okay. So we've got clearance to land, which means there shouldn't be any other traffic around right now, unless they're in front of us. But they didn't tell us about any other aircraft that would be, you know, to follow in or anything like that. But that being said, landing gear coming down. The AI in this sim sometimes does some off-the-wall things. So we'll see how it goes. Because I've been given clearance in the past and then told I didn't have permission to land. So, you know, what can I tell you? But for right now, we're coming in. Okay, so flappers at a half. Airspeed's about 85, so we're looking good. You're a jet. We're supposed to keep a little space in between us here, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, there it is. It just went by us. You can see it in the lower left-hand corner, landing in front of us. But I've got the clearance. Not good. Not good. And here comes this turboprop. Yep, it's landing in front of us. That's strange. Oh well. Okay, so full flaps. And we've got heavy crosswinds, so I'm actually grabbing the aircraft in. We're not. There we go. So this landing could be interesting because we've got a strong crosswind, and the way it's coming, it's going to want to lift our right wing. So let's try and we run a good glide path though. Touchdown. 75 feet a minute. Very light touchdown. And it is. It wants to lift that right wing. Let's see if we
Douglas X-ray Golf Sierra.
keep it safe.
121.9er. Douglas X-ray Golf Sierra.
121.9er. Douglas X-ray Golf Sierra. 121.9er for Douglas X-ray Golf Sierra.
Alright, let's clean things up, get the flaps up.
Atlanta ground, Douglas Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra, request taxi to parking.
Douglas Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway.
Aviation Parking, using taxiway Douglas X-Ray Golf Sierra.
Okay. So this is Atlanta International Airport. It's the home of Delta Airlines. We're going to park right over here. So the flight was very interesting fuel-wise. We've landed, we've got about 390 pounds of fuel left on board. So that we cut it pretty close. I'd like to say it was my perfect planning for the flight, knowing, just exactly how much fuel I was going to burn. But this was a guessing game. So, welcome to the home of Delta. As the sign says, Atlanta's hometown airline. Which we're not flying for, but it's a nice sentiment. Well, we're going to pull right up here because it's a nice place to have lunch here at the picnic tables. And load our cargo and our passengers. So, welcome to Atlanta. Well, alrighty then. As I said, the wind can be a real problem. The other thing I was looking at is just to see how much this Aeroplane Heaven DC-3, how it is on fuel burn. Now, when we took off, SimBrief was telling me it was going to take between 12 and 1,400 pounds of fuel to do this flight from Orlando to Atlanta. We ended up on board with this aircraft 2,440 plus pounds of fuel. When I landed, we had 392 pounds. So this thing drank some fuel. This is an aircraft that has a range of 1,000 miles. And we only flew a little over 300, I think it was. And we used a ton of fuel. So it's drinking like a bad dog. Now, part of that probably is me, the way I've got things set up for the prop RPM and engine manifold pressures, things like that. So there may see, some simple, subtle things I can do to make things better. But she does drink a lot of fuel. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. And that has been a problem with Microsoft Flight Simulator in the past, and something they're aware of and are working towards fixing. So let's hope it does get fixed. With that, though, the flight went really well. Our landing rate was, 73, 75 feet per minute on touchdown with a real heavy crosswind, and you could see that. So with that, I sure hope you enjoyed the flight. I had a lot of fun bringing it to you, as always. So this is Bug Eater 64, and remember, do as I say, not as I do, and as always, safe flying.